Okay, so we're moving right along. And our next guest she goes by the pseudonym L.R. Jackson, even though it says Wanda Jackson on the screen. And she was on the show.
And
I looked you up because I said I think she's been on before, and I have an MP4 file on every interview we've ever done, individual ones, the whole show. Then I looked at part of the last interview, and that brought all this stuff back to my memory about you being the first author with Black Odyssey Media, the first one that they launched.
Yes.
And so
I've
you're
got to say,
back.
thank goodness you're here because
Yeah,
your fans have been in the comments
they
looking.
have. They've been harassing us.
They said, I must have missed my favorite author. Where is my favorite author? Where is L.R. Jackson? What is going on? Who him?
Because both of you have on the birthday.
We both have on
Both
birthday.
have our birthday.
So
My
whose
birthday
birthday is it?
is both of our birthday. Okay, my birthday was last Wednesday, and Rhonda's is Saturday, this coming Saturday. So our
Happy
birthday are
birthday.
9 days
Mine was June
apart.
8th. So we've got
Oh,
two
okay.
Geminis and a Cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
What?
right.
What? Are you a Gemini?
She
I'm a
said
Gemini.
June
Oh,
8th.
okay. Yeah, and I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother and my niece are June 8th.
Favorite people are Cancers. My dad, my sister.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're the
get
emotional
Yes.
people of the bunch.
yeah. Cancers can be see, I get along better with male cancers than females, but there's always
So
an exception.
sweet. Oh, just so sweet.
I
And make
find them to be
amazing
emotional.
listeners.
But Rhonda's not emotional. I think it may be the May cancers are less
No,
emotional.
I'm emotional, but I've been learning how to control that piece of me. I'm not as emotional as I used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I had to
See
grow
that
out of that.
side of you. I haven't really seen that side of
No, that's because you haven't gotten
Birthdays
me
are all
emotional like that.
close. This is nice. I should have wore a birthday hat. I don't even
you.
have one
Yeah.
that I can remember.
Yeah.
Y'all should have gave me a heads up.
Okay. Well, last year the show was actually on my birthday. So I wore the hat, and then so Rhonda's it won't fall on her birthday for another maybe 3 years
Yeah,
before
about
the
3 years.
actual. So Rhonda suggested that we both wear our crowns tonight. So it's birthday week for both of us. So that's what we did. So Wanda, how did the Accidental Queen? How did that was your first book with Black Odyssey. How did everything go with that? Is it still selling? Is it still doing well?
Still selling. It's the reviews are still coming in for it. It's still one of the top stories that I've written. And I think everybody's excited for what's coming because there's two more parts to the Queen series. So I
Okay.
did release the cover to the second spinoff to it, and oh, it's so beautiful. I can't wait. Cannot wait for that one to be released. That one's called The Defiant Queen.
Hmm,
Oh, okay. Now
that's
you have a
intriguing.
book that was released today,
Yes, Tainted Liberties.
Tainted Liberties.
This is my only non-romance book.
Okay. So
Mhm.
congratulations and happy
Thank
book release
you.
day.
Thank
And
you.
and show the cover again. I'm trying to see what I missed some of the detail on that. Okay, Tainted
It's a
Liberties.
nice cover.
I like
Thank
the cover.
you.
There's a split there, so that lets you know it's some kind of
Yeah, they wanted to go for a movie poster vibe.
They did
okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the storyline for Tainted Liberties.
So Tainted Liberties is a drama. That's the best way I can describe the genre. I struggle with trying to figure out where the book fit because it is so different and touches on so many topics. but I think drama probably is the best genre to describe it. It follows two families. One is a Black family, one is a white family, and it centers around pretty much every stereotype, every bias. So there's race, there's religion, there's misogyny, there's homosexuality, there's infidelity, there's age discrimination. Anything you can think of, it touches on those topics with these two families. And their stories all kind of weave together into one cohesive wrap up at the end. Lots of secrets, lots and lots of drama, lots of edge of your seat action.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
what was your
And
inspiration for this story? Like what?
so this story was more of a personal story. I originally self-published this story. It was titled The Land of the Free, and it had a big question mark behind it. And I wrote that story when Trump was running for office. So during that time, it was just horrible. Like every time you logged onto social media or watched the news, it was nothing but negativity. Racism was more prevalent because racists felt more comfortable to be who they are.
Right.
And it was just
They
a
weren't
lot.
home anymore.
Yeah, it was a
Now,
lot.
was this the 2016 time? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I wrote that story. It was a mini story, really, from my own release. I never really expected for it to be picked up by a major publisher, let alone for people to really take off with it and read it. It was more so a personal experience. And so when I signed the deal and they say they wanted it, I was like, oh, okay. So new story, new chapters, same storyline, but just added chapters, added scenes, more in depth. And that's what we have today.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's why you never know something that you've written in the past. I know we've had people on the show that wrote a book 20 years ago. It took them 20 years to write it and get it out there, and they
But you can
finally
only
have a
breathe through life.
breakthrough, you know.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, you're right about that. I was reading the comments online and you know, just seeing things and just being out and experiencing racism as a Black woman and different things. I needed an outlet. I am a person who kind of internalizes things, which is where the creative side comes in. A lot of times when I'm feeling something, I kind of just retreat and my mind just starts doing this and I'm just quiet. And so that was a good release and outlet instead of being on social media arguing with every race is. And that's too much energy. It's too much energy, it becomes exhausting. So that was kind of my outlet to release some of the tension that I was feeling during that time.
Well, that's one thing I love about writing
Yeah.
because you can escape this crazy world we live in and then
Mhm.
create your own world. I
Yeah.
like to call it the what if factor. You can play what if all you want and write it down in a book and create this perfect world if you want to, or a non-perfect world. But either way it goes, you can escape reality for a little while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or we
Absolutely.
reality into the story. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
so that's
I like
always
the uniqueness of it. It's
Mhm.
I like that it's my voice, but I'm creating a story, but I'm using my voice at the same time.
Mhm.
And with the art of storytelling, everyone has a different voice. So when you're reading a story from an author, even though it's fiction and it's romance or even mystery, there's always something in that book that is truth to the person who wrote it. Whether
Absolutely.
it be she had a red kitchen or, it's something. It could just be one thing, but it's something. It could be one thing, many things, but it's definitely something.
Well, I want to know, so you breathe new life into a story.
Mhm.
How do you do that? How do you go back to a story that you probably thought was just right when you first released it, and now you have to add something new to it? How do you go about doing that? Because that's a project that I'm working on where I'm going to be breathing new life into one of my first books. And I've been sitting here like, what am I? Not that I thought the book was perfect, but like, what can
Yeah.
I do to make this book different, but still feel the same? And what can I do to not, I don't want to be like every other book. I don't want the book to be stereotypical where I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff in it for drama's sake. And so I'm asking myself, how do I breathe new life into this, but still respect the same story?
So with me, I'm probably rare and I read my stories once they're published. I know a lot of authors say they don't read it once it's out, they just move on to the next.
I've heard of
But you,
actors who don't watch their movies after
yes,
after the movies come out.
yes, I have to stop myself sometimes, but as I'm reading the story, something else pops in. Oh, I should have wrote that scene that way, or I should have added this, or I should have added that. So for me, I read it first, and then as I'm reading, more ideas pop in, or different ways to rearrange the story pop in, because you can write the same story 10 different ways.
Right.
So that's how I do that. But this story was challenging because there was a different mindset. When Trump was running for office, the whole world was going crazy. So, it was a different mindset then. It was frustrating. And it was different. So fast forward years later, when I'm in a completely different mindset, not even thinking of stuff that was going on in 2016 or anything about race or anything, to have to go back to that story and breathe life into it was pretty challenging. And it took a lot of focus, a lot of dedication, and just kind of putting myself back into that world.
Were there some things you had to update, like, that because time passed, technology is even slightly different. Um,
Definitely.
mhm.
Definitely. One of the scenes actually talks about him being in office. So there was an argument between two characters, and she's saying the president that's in office now, or the current president, and she's talking about Trump. So of course I had to change that to read it to the former president. So yeah, so things
Mhm.
definitely change as far as technology and current presidents and different things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
one
maybe
thing.
reading the reviews and finding out, okay, well, maybe my character was a little too soft.
Yeah, the reviews are all, it's a heavy read,
Mhm.
which is why I put a disclaimer in the front of the book. It's not lighthearted, light and fuzzy, none of that.
Like
Mhm.
romance is.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And
Tense.
all of the reviews pretty much say that. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm glad I read the disclaimer. One blogger said that she finished the book on a Friday. She wanted to post a review Friday, but she needed a few days just to decompress from the story before she could
Mm.
come back and write the review. So it is a very heavy read. And then in the back of the book, I post questions, thought-provoking questions to the reader, so they can kind of see where some of the dialogue came from, some of the chapters. Like, these are things that are good to discuss, discussion points. So
Okay. Did you come up with the new title, Tainted
yes.
Liberties? You did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I come up with my own titles.
Okay.
I do have a hand in my covers, as far as seeing the cover and giving feedback on my thoughts and all, but they nail it. I haven't had a cover that I don't like, or that I've said, can we change it? So far, they've nailed my vision. And I think because I work so closely with them, they kind of know how I write. They kind of know what I'm looking for as far as covers and things like that. So they're able to nail it every time.
Yeah. So
That's a good
how's
thing.
your journey so far been with Black Odyssey? Because since you were the first, author that they released
Yeah,
a book for, how has your journey been with them? And how have you seen them grow and over time? How's that?
definitely. It's been a great journey. I have I get so much support from them, um, advice, and it's just a good thing to have a publisher that has your back. They definitely have grown. There's so many authors that have been added to the roster since myself.
Hmm.
And they're doing so many different things, and I'm just proud to be a part of the team.
How does it feel? I know you said that you're proud to be part of the team, but how does it feel, being the first and then just watching the company grow the way it is?
It feels good because it lets me see that I'm on the right track. You want to be with the company that's growing. You want to
Yes.
be with the company that's growing. You want a leader that has a vision and that's able to act on that vision and grow the brand. That's
Hmm.
the ultimate goal. And with the growth of the brand comes more for the company, which benefits everybody that's on the team.
You were at the National Black Book Festival last year.
I was in Texas.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you know what? I was looking through some pictures. I mean, recently I was looking at some of the pictures from last year, and I said, "That's her."
Yeah, I was there. I was there both days. Yeah. I probably was over by the food because I kept getting up going. I couldn't wait for them to fry that fish. I was probably the
Oh,
first
that
one in
fish was
line.
popular, wasn't it? I
It
don't even think I
was.
got any fish because every time I tried to go up
Yeah,
there, they were out of fish.
Oh, it was
yeah,
good. It was so good. Yeah.
yeah.
But it was a good time.
Yeah, the deacons actually run the concession at the festival. The
Oh,
deacons from the church. That's one of
okay.
their projects. One of their fundraisers that they
Okay.
do the concession for the event. And so, and they decide the menu. We don't have anything to do with
Oh,
whatever
it was a great. I think I had the fish the one time, and I can't remember what I got the
they
second
had
time.
brisket, I think.
Barbecue. I think it
Uh-huh.
was barbecue.
Yeah,
Did they have barbecue?
they had brisket. Well, either last year or the year before, they've had
Okay,
brisket.
because I feel like I had both.
Okay, yeah, they cook real food. They
Yeah.
have a smoke pit or thing outside, so
Uh-huh.
they're cooking the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. But
So
it was
tell us about your you said you had two more books upcoming in the series with the after the Accidental Queen. Is that you, Rhonda? Oh, she
so
mhm. Her sound was
so
cut.
I have so Tainted Liberties was released today. I
Hmm.
have, let me see, three more releases through Black Odyssey Media. So The Accidental Queen is one of three. There's spinoffs. So I have The Defiant Queen, which will be releasing. And then the third installment of the Queen series, which I'm still deciding the name.
Okay.
And then I have my last story, which is about a hit woman, which is my all-time favorite of all the stories I wrote. That's my favorite story.
Like an assassin.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she
Oh,
was
okay.
she was so fun to write. The story itself was just fun to write.
I love
Her,
her. I
her
love a
name's
powerful
Haven.
female character.
Yes, and all my romance stories have powerful female characters, and they're a little different in most romance stories. The men save the day, they're heroes, but almost in all of my stories, the women have a hand in saving the day.
Okay.
So I just like writing really strong heroines and powerful women. I think it's inspiring, but not writing it in a way that takes away the masculinity of the man. So I
Right.
still like the main character to be the man and to be the hero and all. You know, what woman doesn't love reading about that? But just in the way that she supports and jumps in kind of helps, you know, the ending come together all nice.
Okay. Now,
Well, I mean, I think a strong, powerful female character who can still tap into her feminine side when she's with the right man shows a lot about the man. You know,
Mhm.
that he can be strong, you know, let her be strong,
Yes,
but he can still be strong enough to where she feels that she doesn't have to have that facade and she can just relax into her
yep,
feminine. I love stories like that.
yeah, I agree. I do too.
yeah, and that's true. That's true in real life. You
It
can
is.
Hmm.
you can be strong and confident, but you still want to be able to rely on your man, your husband, whoever,
Absolutely.
to when you need him. And sometimes for him to know you need him, even when you don't necessarily have to verbalize, that
Mhm.
you need help, that he can see
Absolutely.
you need help and step in. That's the best.
I agree.
So now, how did you? We may have asked you this before, but that's been a while back since we interviewed you. How did you get started with the writing? Like what inspired you? Were you writing as a kid? Some people are writing as a child or a teenager, and they keep going. Some people just do it as adults, like they get an epiphany or something that encourages them to write. So how did it happen for you?
So I've been writing since I was a kid. I started out writing poems. I used to write poetry, poems. I've always been in creative spaces because I used to sing and I played an instrument. So I was always drawn to creative arts. And so I would write poetry, and then that shifted more into like storytelling, short stories, things like that. I actually won Author of the Year award my senior year in high school. I didn't know
Nice.
it until I was going through my senior book, and there was an article written about me in high school, and I was looking at all the scholarships and different things I had. I don't even remember winning it, but it was there. You know, this how long ago it's been since I graduated high school. But I wrote a short story when I was about 12, and I won the contest. There was a short story contest, but you had to travel to Chicago to get the winnings. I come from a family, I'm from a very small town, had never really been to the city, knew nothing about flying, and they just were like, no. And so I had to forfeit my award to someone else. And I said, then, one day everybody's gonna read my stories one day.
Amen. So you
Hmm.
spoke it into existence.
I did. Yep. Yeah.
Well, good for you.
And
And
I'm guessing there's no signs of turning back. You're in this now. You are an
Oh,
author.
yes. Yes, I'm in this. I'm in this.
now that Black Odyssey did the Tainted Liberties book, right?
It's
Okay.
published through, yeah.
It's published through Black Odyssey. Okay.
Hmm.
It's just not in the series because it was a re-release, sort of representation of the book. Or you redid it. It's a reboot, whatever they call it.
Yeah, so the series is the Queen story.
Right,
So it's
right.
3 books
So
for
it's not
that.
part of that. It's
It's
just
not part of that.
separate
No,
from that.
the other two are not part of that series. So it's 3 books in the series and then 2 standalones. And they're not really series, they're more spin-offs. So
Okay,
you
okay.
can
Like a
read
sequel.
one without reading the other, but for the better experience, it's best to read all
Read
3.
in all the in
Mhm.
order because that's
Yes,
where
yeah,
you get the backstory,
yes, yeah,
because otherwise you're in the middle of the story and
yeah,
you don't know the backstory, and you can
absolutely.
still move forward, especially ignorance is bliss. So if you don't
Mhm.
know what was back there, then
Yeah.
it doesn't take away from the reading experience. But it's
Mhm.
good to uh, read the books in order. Rhonda was talking earlier about she was reading book 3 in a series, and I read the series too, is by Mary Monroe. If you really have to read the first book, you can read the other book, but you really have to read the first book in order to understand what's going on with the other two. So, so if you had to say, like, what would be your dream as a writer, like for the next 5 years, what would that be? Since you've been writing so long, you've been writing your whole life.
So I have two dreams. I
Okay.
definitely want to hit a list. That's a goal of mine, whether it be USA Today or New York Times. I know there was a bunch of stuff going on with the USA Today list. The woman who ran it for so many years resigned from her position, and they didn't know who was going to be taking over it. And I know for weeks, no list went out. I don't know if anyone's back now or not, but I know it was a bunch of stuff surrounding it. So that's the first one. And then the second of all, I just love to move from book to film.
Okay.
That's really the ultimate goal for me.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, when you hear about somebody being optioned, their book being optioned, it's always exciting. For
Yeah,
especially for authors in this space, for Black authors. And some have
absolutely.
labored in the vineyards for years, like Beverly Jenkins just got optioned for, I think, a series. It's for TV, but I think it might be a whole series of her books, not just one book. And she's been writing for 30 years or
Yeah,
long
she's
time.
a pioneer.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, like, she should have been one of the first to be optioned for film with the path that she created for us all.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
mhm.
So I'm glad that she's getting her flowers
Me
while
too.
she lives.
Yes.
I agree.
Um, so well, Wanda, thank you for being on the show.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on your new book release and
Thank you.
continued success.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really enjoyed talking with you. You have a great evening.
You
And
too. And
congratulations.
happy birthday to both of you.
Thank
okay.
you.
We receive it.
All right.